Hi, I'm Peter, and today I'm going to speak to you about the greatest treasure every public speaker has, which is his or her audience. Now, whenever you stand up to speak, always remember you are no use as a speaker if you don't have an audience. Therefore, your audience, your listeners, are the most important people whenever you stand up and make a speech. Therefore, what should you do? Well, first and foremost, you should have the right attitude. Make sure that you love your audience. If you think your audience are a terrible bunch, if you think your audience are people who hate you, no matter how good you are as a speaker, when you stand up to speak, you will never deliver your message passionately, intensely. Instead, you may not even bother what you say. And so I find it very difficult to accept the advice where some people say to not be afraid when you speak. Imagine that your audience are all naked. I cannot do that. I would rather imagine that my audience are people who love me and they have come to listen to me, and I just can't wait to speak to them. Now, if you have such an attitude, speaking will be much easier and you will actually enjoy conversing with your audience. Other than that, a good thing to do is to find out before you speak information about your audience. Usually as a speaker, you will be invited by someone to come and speak. Now ask that someone a whole bunch of questions about your potential audience. Things like, will there be more men or more women? What racial composition will be represented? What are their interests? Why are they there? Find out their financial standing. Are they from a lower class or a higher class? Their level of education. Because all this little information will determine the kind of jokes you use, the kind of vocabulary you choose, the way you illustrate your points. All of this will be very helpful if you know your audience before you ever go to the venue where you are speaking. And lastly, when you are at the venue, before you speak, please don't sit in the front there alone. Get up from your seat, walk around, shake hands, introduce yourself, speak to your audience, find out their names, find out how are they, ask them why are you here, and try to remember some of the things they said, try to remember some of the names. And when you begin to speak, mention their names. Mention so-and-so said this to you just before you came up to stage. This will bring your audience closer to you. So I hope some of these tips will be helpful to you. If you have benefited from what I've said, don't forget to get my book. Also, keep watching all the other videos that I will be producing. But my advice to you is, don't just read and listen. You must do what I've said. Only then can you change and become the speaker you want to be.